Begin chapter. It was day 2 in the hospital and 2 days before Sheila's surgery. They were pumping her full of fluids, and I was keenly aware that the medication was making her lethargic. It was simply a hurry up and wait time for us all. Our 3 daughters and I took turns being with Sheila while we waited for the doctor to give the green light. It was as if time had stopped. In 1991, we were expecting our first child. I had been teaching for 4 years and we had settled into the city life. We had a Cocker Spaniel, and I had a garden, and we had something I never had in Wyoming, a pomegranate tree. I loved that tree and the fruit it bore. I think we had finally assimilated into the South. We had mentally become Texas, and we were soon to be parents. We were preparing for that mental state of mind as well. We made our home childproof. First-time parents are quite aware of this process. We put locks in the cabinets, we found safe places for bleaches and cleaners, made sure that there isn't a bookshelf or other tall object that a child could pull over. We were almost ready, but we were concerned about how the dog would handle the idea of bringing a baby into the house. Partner, our dog, was more than a bit high-strung. When we lived in Wyoming, we had a cockapoo we loved immensely. He was gentle and cuddly and had manners. He and I would share cookies, but he would not take a bite until he saw me taking a bout first. We were spoiled with such a well-behaved dog. Poor guy got hit by a car when we were in northern Wyoming visiting my folks. We were slow to replace such a treasured and loved pet. However, we had been without a dog for a few years, and we truly missed having one around. We saw an advertisement in the newspaper for a Cocker Spaniel pups, and the price was reasonable. We called to see if any were still available, then drove to the home of the family that was selling them. There were about 5 of them, and they were all precious. We finally agreed on one and took him home, not having a clue as what to call him. I called my sister, who lived in Wyoming at the time, and asked her for her opinion. She is witty and had a knack for coming up with rather unusual comments and quips. We hoped she had the same knack with coming up with a good or possibly unusual name. She would write some names down and call us when she had some ideas. She called late that evening, waking the 2 of us. I think she forgot about the time zone difference, but Sheila, in the dark, wrote the names down on some paper on the nightstand. Sheila thanked her and quickly fell back to sleep. The next morning, Sheila read the list of names to me. We got halfway to the bottom of the relatively long list, and we both chuckled at a name that we thought was rather catchy. Partner. I joked that if we had 2 dogs, we could have named them Pert and Near, and the other dog, Brecken. I think we were both reminded of a way a famous actor from the 60s played the part of a backwoodsman in a comedy about moving to California. We stayed with the misspelling on the paper and called my sister to say we chose one of the names that she suggested. We said, we named him Partner. Partner, she questioned. I suggested the name Partner. We had gotten a chuckle about it that we officially named him Partner. Partner was a mess. He was a finicky eater and liked hardly anything. He was hot-headed and he had epilepsy that required medication. He would get mad and growl if I happened to get into bed before he had the opportunity to crawl under it. He was not friendly to others and he was seldom friendly to us, but he was a part of the family, and he sort of behaved like a grumpy old uncle.